Well, this could be a good runner up for what vehicle is out, that is purchasable for, high schoolers and college and, corporate advisors at this time. So, this is basically following 1974 of 2026, going into 2056 of 2066 of next decade at the time. So that's just being able to follow New Year's, Easter, and Thanksgiving the way it should, and just being able to maintain your following behaviors, and as far as being a cozier production at the time. So just being able to know more about your Carabana, your Carabana, and knowing about the situations that it come with, and as far as it being a transportation issue on the propositions, it being a law somewhere, a local county law somewhere. That's pretty much where you just looking at the old series of terms, as far as it being a DMV license of 1974, and being able to be instructed as far as part of state law, as far as state law goes. So it's pretty much using CNN, ESPN, using a lot of broadcasting networks to use more of your interesting intuitions toward local imperialistic statistics at the time, like a fire truck or a CR England truck or ABF truck or a Stephen transport truck or even a Arnold truck. It's pretty much where you're looking at the whole nation as well. It's pretty much looking at the whole interstate composites as you as you as you use commerce to promote more for your adaptive business of commercial LLC of a real estate contractor. So it's pretty much where you're using contractors that use pure 18-wheeler trucks as a pure line of commerce at the time, from 1988 to 2018 to 2094. So, that just being able to follow more up with the average 10th grade of 3rd grade of 12th grade at the time, as you focus on more multiplication of combined like terms of standard forms at the time. And that could be the normal A plus B plus C at the time, as you learn those formulas and methods like that. So it's pretty much where you learn the more of LAD or Luck Trudy Luck associates. You're learning more about that within EcoHerb 747, and that's being able to base your review based off of your experience and skill that you've seen in the past since 2002 or 2064. So that's pretty much where you're getting a bigger film of a bigger objective that happened in Roe versus Wade version versus a free trade act agreement at the time, where you're being able to put that in working terms. If you wanted a free trade in working terms, a free trade agreement in working terms, that's like saying I'll work 9 hours for at least 1 year, and I can have anything I want for the next decade. And that's pretty much where you're working 9 years for such and such like that. So however you working is pretty much part of free trade. As invested as it comes, food should come on the job as well as anything else. So it's pretty much us doing our good job and the good deeds of how we respect our community, and how we use healthy diets to promote more for our figurations at the time. So it's pretty much what you're using as far as that go. Other than that, you are using vehicles, and those vehicles are just a capital review of using more for TF truck or NTV or overdrive, and it's just looking at the website networks of what a car is, what it goes through on a natural day basis, and what you do to provide for upkeep. And that's pretty much where you're using 974 semesters to promote more for that update, and understand more of the situations that come with it, as it's more required under religious beliefs at the time. So it's being able to use more situations and strategies to promote 9834 situation for yourself. So it's pretty much where you being able to put yourself in a big deposition, and being able to cancel out at least $980 out of that situation. And it's pretty much where you're using your trans tax to promote more for your tax deficits at the time. So that's pretty much just being able to create a conflict, and being able to make $980 off of it, just by dispersing amount out an amount out of 5,800. And it's pretty much where you're using $50 bills, $10 bills, and $100 bills, and being able to configure more of your configuration is pretty much what you're using as a credit launcher on Chime, PMC, or American Express cards. And it's pretty much PMC 2 squared American Express cards as well. So you use that there to produce performance credits, produce your performance credits. So it's pretty much where you're using those decencies, and using that. Other than that, you got cars out there, and you either working between a Lincoln, you working between the QX80, the Q7. You're looking at and they're all worth about $80,000. So you got to at least have at least $500,000 on the down payment to purchase those vehicles. So it's pretty much as you purchasing the full payment and using the full price to pay for those things. So it's pretty much using the full 9443 bills that you need to confirm those types of bills at the time. So that's pretty much what you use on your 39 months, your 55 months, or your 45 month bill payment. And that's pretty much where any loose money or any loose revenue go at the time. So it's pretty much where you're using at least $9,700 at loose revenue instead of $300. So it's pretty much using the Trump's economy with that detail. So that's at least using at least 970 shrimp a month, and being able to create that with the deposition of the a squared plus b squared plus c squared, which is the main title of the whole story. So that's at least using $97,799 in 49 cent in retail sales, as you use that for checks and balances for 94 different orders, 34 different orders, and 84 different orders. So it's pretty much as you using more for 1998 to 2234 to 3423, and being able to use that all different codes of the way is pretty much where you got an easier route to deal with your hustle or your of your yard game. So it's pretty much using 90,000 every decade to purchase everything that you need of your certain profile. And the thing about it is we wasn't born a decade ago. We know more about 40 years of expansion, 40 years of expectancy, 40 years of um, 40 years of 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 relate relevance and skill at the time. So that's pretty much where we're using that detail, and using it at Amazon Enterprise, Aquatics, and Restaurant Depot. And altogether, it's just becoming a recreation for aquatics division at the end of the day, as we find more duties that make more responsibilities for the income of those types of industries at the time. So I was just following more of Eco Herb 747, and being able to produce more reference tax for those documents as we find more tax deficits for the Eco Herb associates to assign to. So as being able to grade that, and being able to find ways to find a bigger, better payment, and being able to use it as a multi-platform of payments that gets propelled to the associates after a while for at least 30 years. So it's pretty much following ADP's solutions at the time. So that way you always have at least $974. So it's not just a tremendous thing that you get a check. No, it's just you're basically getting basically your money back, basically from when you spent your last $400. So that's pretty much where you're being able to have a lump sum of your next cash deposit. So it's pretty much using your own 98-hour transition, as was working from 3 weeks to four weeks, and on to 3 months to 4 months. So it's being able to use your lump sums to purchase more of your credentials of your political singular reference at the time. So it's pretty much what we was doing at Enterprise, and that's pretty much what we did at Enterprise to make a good profit off of Challenger, Maxima, Impala Premier, getting those previews in order, and that's pretty much what made the good performance happen for me right there, as we made a $90,000 income. And that's pretty much where we're just looking for multiple different sections where we can use a bill statement or a reference note to inquire about those things, and incite those things, and build a described vocabulary in between those things, as we come up with better common faith of having endurance to endure through the weekly deposit as we normally do. So it's pretty much having common faith that the normal chapel would have, with a little bit of acceleration in sports exhilarating activities, so you can keep up with your elite forms, and be able to always be comfortable within your packaging of your own profiles at the time. So as being able to know more about 2012 of 1984, and being able to know about that cozy act of comfort at the time. So it's pretty much where you being able to not only be clean, not only be comfortable, but be advantaged to accumulate more business applications at the end of the day. So it's pretty much learning leads of different applicated advantages at the time. So it's pretty much where you're using W-2, or you're using Declaration of Independence, Articles of Federation, Bill of Rights, separation of powers. You're using majority of your powers to promote more of that stuff as your representative opinion at the time. So it's pretty much causing a debate of your own house and your own office and your own workday assignments on Office 360 or Google Docs, or even Outlook at the time. So that's pretty much where you're looking at those decencies. And other than that, you still have that Cadillac 24 that you see. Other than that QX80, so you're looking at those, and you see that in February to November. So it's pretty much looking at 2022 to 2034, and being able to look at those new cars as a modern purchase for at least 30 years or more. Being able to reference your car out for at least 30 years from August 14th to September 17th. Being able to reference your cars out that long, so that's at least working at least 934 weeks. Out of 12 months, you working 934 weeks out of 12 months as a service contractor. So that's pretty much where you're making at least 9 million a year. So it's pretty much working with AOL, Time Warner, Austin Water. You pretty much working with your normal foundations of creations at the time. So it's pretty much working with Intel Core 7. So that's already $98,000 being spent on $97 million in reference at the time. So it's pretty much something that the whole tax county wanted to pay for, and something that they wanted somebody to understand more often, as an inventory specialist, or as a data analyst, or as a co-manager, or as a district manager, or even as a district coordinator at the time. So that's pretty much what we're seeing in January 24th of April 14th is you learning more about personal information, and being able to know more about SHSU Interscopes. So it's pretty much learning a world earth of its own geography, and learning more about Sam Adams, Sam Houston, and of Leonardo da Vinci of 1809 uh, to 2087, as they focus more on South Ireland, Thailand, Spain, French, Boston, Tea Party, House of Burgesses. They worrying about more of the U.S. soil's history at the time. So it's pretty much where you got to do your own research, and be able to use as much insight as possible to use your connotating judgments of what particularly you would do if you had that amount of power. So that's pretty much using your predictions of your estimated intuition of what you would believe would happen with that much power and that much animosity and that much endurance after your full 9834 set. And that could be a Buick Univision right there. That's pretty much what you see at the time of 2008, of 2012, of 2022. So that's pretty much what you're seeing at Sam's, or at Costco's, or at Comcast, or right before you turn 9 years old, you're basically looking at 22 years old before your eyes, and being able to graduate and sustain your career records. And it's pretty much where you're looking at least 98 different times where you have more leisure and liability than normal at the time. So that's pretty much working with SHSU Interscopes, statistics, and composites at the time. So it's pretty much where you're working with deficits, and deposits at the time. It's pretty much paying for stuff that you need to pay for it. And thing about it is, at Sam Houston, you're gonna see multiple different tax collectors collecting their taxes, and being able to purchase the catfish the way they want to purchase it. So that's pretty much where we look using our usual deficits of 1984 to 2018, and being able to use $2,214 of reference tax is pretty much what we're doing, for the whole Barton Creek Mall, the whole tax office, the whole Restaurant Depot is doing, and that's a like $98 million intuitive knowledge for Eco Herb 747, and it's only worth a dime, of intent at the time. So it's pretty much all we have to do to remain stable with Max Preps, Play 60, Huddle, Comcast, gameplay, and just being able to maintain route through the normal 90-yard, 60-yard, 900-yard reception throughout 7-on-7 spring game, and in Georgetown Eastview, which is a very good game for Reagan at the time, for 2017 and 2037. So that's just not Hyde Park of one game. That's pretty much focusing on Georgetown Eastview. Mandatorily if it ain't Calhoun. So that's pretty much what we look for at gameplay, or at Dave Campbell's magazine, or at Huddle, or even Sports Illustrated, or even Max Preps at the time. So it's pretty much following their statistic lead, and being able to know more about their impassions. So that's just working over 934 yards of 99 34 yards, and seeing the difference between a 50 to $99.71. So it's pretty much where you're using the interest of that, and using more of the rounding to the nearest 10%, and you see that $50 ain't more than that $91. So that makes that 371 stick out past that 50 point. Now it's from LeBron James, Steph Curry, Lavelle Davis. It knocks off that point, that 50 ain't that 50 unless it ain't no unless to it. It's just that 50 ain't a 50 if that 91-71 is corrected, majority of the time. So it's on point. That's somebody like Carmelo Anthony at the time. So that's pretty much where you're using Carmelo Anthony's word of a sum at the time. That's part of Get You Some at the time. So that's pretty much where you're using 9404. Whether it's rice, corn, broccoli, chicken strips, hot wings, gizzards. That's pretty much where you're using Georgia, of Oklahoma, of Kansas, of Kentucky, of Nevada, Colorado. It's pretty much using U.S. government to promote more for peach, green, and blue statistics after 2008 of 2022. So it's pretty much where we're using $97,000 in reproduction at the time, as we make more pregame meals for the audience, for their events at the time. So that's just based off my 97-74 edition of Mr. Catfish, where we're working between the restaurant and the trailer, and doing their events the way that they like to do their celebrations. And it's pretty much just working with the whole Eastland Plaza. So it's pretty much where you're looking at outlook of Eastland, and of Balcones and Anderson Mill. So that's pretty much where you're looking at Dallas, of Brenham, of Harm Clock in Houston. So that's pretty much being able to invite those people, and being able to bring the great culture up every June 21st, and being able to see if they like their recession, how they like it. Being able to know more about progression of activity. Knowing about multi-platforms, and more about commercial licenses at that time. So that's pretty much all this is at the end of the day. That's pretty much my tippy top of where I would like to be at the end of the day. So that's pretty much what I would imagine doing at the end of the day on Comcast, CNN, and Spotify, and Vivo and VLAD. So that's pretty much where we start in our 1974 to 2002 and going to 2026. So it's being able to use present details with future details, and being able to use more for Fox FX movies, TNT, CBS, and USA. Using your normal day network configurations of cable after 1997 of 2084. So it's using normal days of entire retirement at the time. So it's using more of Ford Fusion and more of Impala Premiere to promote more for those details as you gain 971 different ADP units. So that's pretty much working with at least 2 years of advancement at the time. So that's pretty much where you're using at least 14 years of experience at the time after you gain so many hours of relevance at the time. So that's pretty much where you're using that whole benefactor.